from now. We're going to start from Ois Vav. That's the third paragraph on the first column of this page. So the Rebbe says, "V'toichlan nes the Chanukah," the content of the Nes of Chanukah, who be'inyan shemen tahor, is concerning having found pure oil. Matzu panchechot shel shemen, they found one cruse of oil shemunach b'chesam shel kohen gadol, that was lying with the seal of the Kohen Gadol, or it was found with the seal of the Kohen Gadol. There was only sufficient amount to kindle only for 1 day of Chanukah, or 1 day of the kindling of the neiros in the Beis Hamikdash. Nasa by Nes, a miracle occurred. They kindled from that cruse of oil that was sufficient for 1 day. They kindled for 8 days, which is the amount of time until they were able to press the olives and extract pure oil for the Beis Hamikdash. So Kivin, so the Rebbe goes back to what he spoke about earlier in the Sikha. Since the decree of the Yevonim, of the Greeks, was to make the Yidden forget your Torah, the godliness, the divinity of the Torah, like the Rebbe spoke earlier in the Sikha. They wanted to make mundane and impure the holiness that's in the wisdom of Torah. So the miracle had to be by emphasizing the holiness of the wisdom of the Torah. It's the Torah, the wisdom of Hashem. That it's your Torah. How is this emphasized? Through finding pure oil. That the Yevonim did not make it defiled. Even more so, not just any pure oil. And they found one cruse of oil that was laying there with the seal of the Kohen Gadol. The seal of the Kohen Gadol indicates something really powerful and great. The highest level of pure oil. Just like we would understand in the simplest sense. If you have a kashrus symbol by an ordinary kohen, or you have a kashrus symbol by the Kohen Gadol, that's the greatest. That's not even in the capability of the Yevonim to touch it, both physically and also spiritually. It indicates the Kohen Gadol indicates such a high level that Tumah cannot approach it. And a miracle occurred with it. And they kindled from it 8 days. 7 extra days over the 1 day that was sufficient to kindle with. That the idea of the number 7 includes all the 7 days of the week, close as man, the entire cycle of time. The Inyan Zem, Shemen Torah, this idea of pure oil, Mudgish Balimud Nister the Torah, is emphasized in the study of the concealed part of the Torah. In other words, this idea of the godliness in the Torah, that it's Torah Secha, your Torah, that's emphasized when we learn the part of the Torah, that's the concealed part of the Torah, the hidden secrets of the Torah. Kibalimud Nigla the Torah becomes when we're studying the revealed part of the Torah. Since what we are involved in are worldly matters that the Torah's halachas are dealing with, it's possible because the descent of the darkness overcoming the world, matzav, a situation one could be enamored and recognize the powerful wonder of this wisdom of the Torah, of the revealed part of the Torah, to see that it's a great wisdom, it's an unbelievable idea, without recognizing and being aware and sensing that this is the wisdom of Hashem. how does one ensure that they don't fall into this trap? The advice for this is the study of the revealed part of the Torah should be alongside the study of the concealed part of the Torah. Yedias alakus, the knowledge of Hashem. Da'as alakev, know the God of your father. So through that, also the study of the revealed part of the Torah becomes permeated with the holiness of Torah, that even when you're learning the revealed part, it will be it's recognizable that it is the wisdom of Hashem. The Rebbe goes on the next page, the Torah Gufa, and the concealed part of the Torah itself, this is even more so when you have in the oil of the Torah more than the wine of the Torah, because the oil indicates the highest, most level secrets of the secrets. Wine, even though it shows on secrets, because wine comes from a concealed place, it's concealed in the grape until you press it, which is similar to oil, but oil floats on the top. And the fact that the oil floats on the top, it shows on an aspect of the concealed part of the Torah that it is something that's Hashem's wisdom. Let's skip over the next paragraph to the third paragraph on the page. Additional to that, and this is also primary, as opposed to wine, which also indicates deep secrets of the Torah. Oil is also something that illuminates. Shemen lamoyer, like it says, the oil for the luminary. Through the oil, it becomes revealed and shines the luminary of the Torah, Pnimius HaTorah, the inner part of the Torah. Not only in the 4 cubits of a Yid, also outside of the person's 4 cubits, in the person's entire surroundings, that this oil illuminates. Like it's emphasized in the kindling of the Ner Chanukah, that was established for the miracle of the oil. The mitzvah is to place it on the entrance of his house from the outside, from when the sun goes down, until the people leave the marketplace. In other words, the term that the Chazal used, that the legs, there's no one walking around anymore, leaves the marketplace, until the legs of the Talmudoi, who are people that were usually the last people in the marketplace, would cease to be around. Even in the time of darkness, and in a place that is outside. Bishuk, in a marketplace, that there's a people called Talmudoi, that the word Talmudoi is Oisius Meredus. It's the same letters like the word rebellious one. Mordim Hashem, that they are ones that rebel against Hashem. Poyel ha'orden Chanukah levatul lakalis. The light of Chanukah affects to nullify and to cause it to cease. Like it says, Kalya, Hamerida b'Hashem Talmudoi, the rebellion against Hashem, which is the Talmudoi. Shelo Yishoyer Afilu Haregel, top of the second column, Rigla, even the foot, the lowest level. Darga Chita Achroina, even the lowest level should not remain. Koilo, skip the parentheses, Shel Merida b'Hashem, then the of those that rebel against Hashem, Yisayim is even more so. Sha'erden Chanukah Poil Kiloyim v'Kilois HaNefesh, Kalid Mal Yusa, the light of the candle of Chanukah affects an outpouring of the soul, which is Kalya in a positive way. Gam Berigla Talmudoi, even those that are low, the legs of the Talmudoi, Shagam Heim Yavoy L'Bchins Klois HaNefesh, also them, they should arrive at a state of that the soul expires in the love for Hashem, because the powerful and mighty light of the oil of Torah, the secrets of the secrets of Torah. So we have the power, especially after what occurred this morning, Rahman al-Itzlan, to bring light to the world, and even those that are rebelling against Hashem, doing the worst type of acts, should be first of all, their negativity should cease and the positivity should come out and become revealed. The Rebbe goes on, Nois Zayin, that this follows on the Yom Tov that we just now finished with, Yutas Kislev. The main and the completion of the revelation of the oil, which is the secrets of the Torah, in the miracle of the oil of Chanukah and Nasa. By Yom Tov Shebechodesh Kislev Shenizgal B'Dor Shel Achar occurs in the Yom Tov in the month of Kislev that was revealed in the generations following it, B'Yutas Kislev. On the 19th of Kislev, Shabai Hiskala Ikara Inin Yafutzamayasecha, then began the primary idea of your wellspring spreading out. The Baal Shem Tov, the wellsprings of Baal Shem Tov, the wellsprings of Torah Chassidus, Shemen Shabbatorah, the oil of Torah, became in a way of chutzah to go outward and spread out outward. And the Rebbe goes on historically that even in those days prior to all of this, in the times of Tanoim and Amoraim, the concealed part of the Torah was concealed, but it remained, and it didn't. It just impacted the revealed part of the Torah. Let's skip over to the next page and see how the Rebbe explains this. One second. It looks like I hadn't turned the page over here, I think. Okay. Page after that. Second paragraph on this page. Kloimar, this means to say, Chanukah mudgeshes beikar pulls Hashem and Moshe b'Torah b'limud nigla Torah shu ikar al limud. In Chanukah is emphasized primarily the influence, the effect of the oil, the luminary of the Torah, on the revealed part of the Torah. On the study of the revealed part of the Torah, that's the primary study, like the Rebbe spoke earlier in the Sikha, that this was the common study in those days. Becomes permeated with the knowledge, recognition, and the sense in the holiness of the Torah, with the wisdom of Hashem, that it's your Torah. But it wasn't that we openly studied the concealed part of the Torah. Kislev, and the novelty of and the uniqueness of the 19th of Kislev, Shleimus Hagilu, the Shemesh B'Torah B'Chanukah, the ultimate revelation of the oil of Torah and Chanukah, Shenasa Gam Limud Be'Rozin De'Rozin, Shemesh B'Torah Limud Choshev V'Ikri. There also became the actual study in the secrets of the secrets, the oil of the Torah, as a important and primary study. So this is something that has an even higher level than before. Let's skip over to the next paragraph. Tam Hadover, last paragraph, first column. The reason Shadavke B'Doros Achroinim Nisgalu Grozen the Rozen Shem Shabbatorah Boifin Shalavon Vasaga. The reason why, specifically in the latter generations, was revealed the secrets, the oil of the Torah, in a way of understanding and comprehension. Since there was even more in ascendancy, the darkness of the world, and especially the overpowering of external wisdom, because of the way they nurse from the wisdom of the Torah in an untoward fashion. So then the danger of making them forget your Torah is even more possible in our generations, more so than even then, like the Rebbe spoke earlier in the Farbrengen. Therefore is a need for the revealing the oil of the Torah. And it becomes as necessary as food, though in previous generations it wasn't so necessary. Skip the parentheses. And the latter generations itself, the greater the darkness increases in the world, it increases and grows the revelation of the oil of the Torah, the way of spreading your well springs outward. The Rebbe goes on and gives an example that Temchet Vimim was established specifically even after the times of Yutas Kislev, because the darkness increased, so you had to give more light with the oil of the Torah. And then the same thing with the Rebbe goes on with his father-in-law, the Frierdiker Rebbe, that he increased, and after the Frierdiker Rebbe increased even more so. Let's skip over to Ois Ches. We can add to this even more in depth. The revelation of the oil of Torah and Chanukah, and even more so in the Doros, the generations following this in the 19th of Kislev. It's not just because of the necessity for it that came about because of the darkness being in ascendancy in the world, but also and primarily because we're coming ahead and becoming closer to the coming of Moshiach. Moshiach. Why is it called Moshiach? What's the meaning of the word Moshiach? Al Shem HaMashiach B'Shemen, because he's anointed with oil. Like it says, B'Shemen Kochi Meshachtiv, with my holy oil I have anointed him. Val Yodin through Mashiach, Ikar V'Shleimus Gilui Hashemen will be the ultimate and the primary and the perfect revelation of the oil, the secrets of the secrets Shabbat Sheyil might say Tamel Mistas V'Nisa, he will teach the secrets of its reasons and the concealed parts of it. Until in that time, in the days of Mashiach, the Rambam says, the entire involvement of the world will only be to know Hashem, meaning that's the secrets, the inner part of the Torah. It talks about the knowledge of Hashem. The revealed part of the Torah doesn't talk about the knowledge of Hashem. That is the entire world, meaning even lahavdil non-Jews. Balachas kam v'kam b'nei Yisrael, how much more so Jewish people. Sheyiu chachamim g'dolim tapasek kalam, there'll be great sages. V'yoydim dvar mastum, they will know hidden things. V'yasigu das boirim chulu, and they will comprehend the knowledge of the Creator. Hainus means sheikar alimud yiyah berozen the rozen shabbat, that the primary study will be in the secrets of the Torah. Melchein therefore kechal sha'ilchem miskarvim l'izgal sh'mashiach tzedkenu, the more we become closer to the revelation of Mashiach, we are increasing in the revelation of the oil, the secrets of Torah. That is the tasting that we're supposed to taste, like on Erev Shabbos, we're supposed to taste of the foods of Shabbos, the same thing we have to taste prior to the coming of Mashiach from the Torah of Mashiach. And here the Rebbe says a very interesting thing in the brackets. We said before that there's two different reasons why you need to have the oil of the Torah as the generations progress. One reason was because as the generations progress, the darkness is greater, so we need to combat it with more light. And one reason is because we're coming closer to the time of Mashiach, when then it's going to become revealed the secrets of the Torah. So now we have to taste of that time. Here the Rebbe is going to connect both reasons together. He says in the bracket, second paragraph in the second column, via Shleimer we could say, because of the fact that we're getting closer and closer to the coming of Mashiach, that is also the reason why the darkness in the world is so much more powerful. Because of how much more holiness is in ascendancy, because we're in such close proximity to Moshiach. Becomes also the overpowering of the other side that opposes the coming of Mashiach. There's a reason, there's a need to go to war with the opponent. That's the idea, says about Mashiach, that he will fight the wars of Hashem until he'll be victorious. So back to what we're talking about, that the revelation of the oil and so on has to do with Mashiach. So he says in the last paragraph, this is emphasized in Chanukah. In addition to the fact that it was established for the miracle of the oil, that we said before, that the oil has to do with Mashiach, and we said that it's Mashiach is called Mashiach because he's anointed with oil, and the time Mashiach will be revealed the secrets of the Torah, which is the idea of oil. There's another component of Chanukah which shows on its connection with Mashiach. Yesh b'shmoina yamim b'shmoina neiros. It has, it's first of all, it's a Yom Tov, it has 8 days, and it has also 8 candles. Shemispar shmoina kosher Mashiach. The number 8 is connected with Mashiach. Why is it connected with Mashiach? So there's a Maimer Chazal that says, Shehu mishmoinos nesichei Adam. He is one of the 8 princes of men. There's 7 shepherds and 8 princes of men, and Mashiach is one of those. The Kinash Mashiach Shmoinanim, and it says that the harp, the stringed instrument that will be played in the time of Mashiach in the Beis Hamikdash, will have 8 strands. The Chaim v'Yiseirim is Abutas Kislev, and so on, even more so on the 19th of Kislev. Sha'az Hizchel Ikar Inyan Efutzma Yisachah Chutza. Then began the primary idea that your well springs will spread outward. Shebezet Toli Bias Mashiach, in the spreading of the well springs outward is dependent the coming of Mashiach. Kedibri Melcha Mashiach l'Baal Shem Tov, like the words of King Mashiach to Baal Shem Tov, and Meinal Shelosi, when in response to the question of Baal Shem Tov, Amos Saikasi Mar, when will the Master come? When your well springs will spread outward. So that's another connection of the oil of the Primis HaTorah with the times of Mashiach. From the revelation of the teachings of Chassidus Chabad through the Alter Rebbe on the 19th of Kislev, it increases so much more powerfully. It's increasing every single generation over the 7 generations of the leaders of Torah's Chassidus Chabad, including specifically through the founding of Temchet Mimim. They're called the soldiers of the house of David. They go out to the war of Beis David, of the house of David, to be victorious and defeat those that have attacked the heels of your anointed, to bring about in actuality the revelation of the David King Mashiach, especially in this generation, that all matters were already completed. All we have to do is open our eyes with lyrics and to see, behold, Mashiach is already coming. Ois Tes, 2 paragraphs from the bottom of the first column. The above mentions thus connected with the parsha of the week, the parsha Miketz. Shema parsha Miketz, kosher Miketz hayomim. The name of the parsha, which is Miketz, connected with the end of days, meaning Soif HaGolus, the end of the Golus. Kol Lashon Ketz Soifu. Every expression of end of Ketz, the word Ketz means the end. The Ketz hayomin, and the end of Yamin, which is a lashon in the pasuk in Daniel, means Heschalos HaGeulah. It means the beginning of the redemption. Yesh Miketz Shutchila, because there's a type of meaning of word Miketz that can mean the beginning. So it means the beginning of the redemption. So he says, Yesh Loimar Beis and Yom, the Ketz Hayomim, the Ketz Hayomin. That 2 ideas: the end of days, which is the end of Golus, and the end, meaning the beginning of Yamin, of the right of Hashem's revelation. Soif HaGolus, V'schol HaGeulah, the end of exile, and the beginning of the Geulah. Kshurim and Beis and Yonim, time and Begil Hashem, Shebetoyres Achreinim. This is connected with the both concepts that we said before, and both reasons. The revelation of oil, that's of the Torah in the final generations. Is Gabrus HaChoshech. One reason we said that the oil of Torah is revealed now because of the greater darkness, and another reason the revelation of the oil of Torah now, the Pnimis HaTorah, the hidden part of Torah, is Vaiskarvas L'Bias HaMashiach, is because they're coming close to the coming of Mashiach. She is Gabrus HaChoshech Shurim Soif HaGolus. The overpowering of the darkness is connected with the end of Golus, Ketz Hayomim, that the days of Golus are ending. By Skarvus L'Bias HaMashiach, and the coming closer to the coming of Mashiach, Shurim Aschos HaGeulah, Ketz Hayamin, and that's connected with the beginning of the Geulah, the Ketz Hayamin. Let's skip over a little bit. One second. Let's find the correct page over here. Okay. We'll go down to the bottom of the first column, Oisyud Beis. From the lessons of what we spoke about before concerning action. Since in addition to the fact that our generation now is the final generation of exile, Soif HaGolos, the end of Golos, and the first generation of the redemption, Hascholos HaGeulah, the beginning of the redemption, we find ourselves in auspicious dates for the beginning of the Geulah, or connection with the Geulah. Hey, mitzat Parsha Shavua, both because the Parsha of the week, Parshas Miketz, Miketz Hayomim, Miketz Yamin, Kanal Siftes, is the Parsha Miketz, shows on the end of Golos and the beginning of Geulah. And also because the days of Chanukah that were established for the miracle of the oil. This idea with the oil, my holy oil, I anointed him. That's the idea of Moshiach, Kanal Sifches. Shabbos Chanukah, especially on Shabbos Chanukah, Shabbos Kosher and Geulah. The Shabbos is connected with redemption. Then he brings a B'kviyas Shana Zu Shal Achri Ner Chamishi and Gulas Rabbeinu Hazakim Maisor Hasheni. That Shabbos followed the fifth Lichtel, it's called, the fifth candle of Chanukah, which is the redemption of the Alter Rebbe from his second imprisonment. And also it's connected with Rosh Chodesh, which is going to be this Shabbos. Shemoyer al Chiddush the Yisrael, that indicates the renewal of the Yidden. Shadaimim Levana, Moinim Levana, Yidden are likened to the moon, and they count their calendar is based on the moon. And they will in the future become renewed like the moon becomes renewed every month. Geulah mitzvah shleim, and the true and complete redemption. Yesh lahoisef miyom liyom. We need to increase from day to day. Kairosi mechanukah, like the lesson of the day of Chanukah. Shemekan ve'elach moisav v'elach. From now on, he has to increase as he goes on. In those matters that bring about the redemption in actuality in a revealed way. What's amongst those things that are going to bring the Geulah in the redemption in a revealed way? The strengthening of the belief and the desire and hope for the coming of Mashiach. Ad kedei kach, to such a degree, he feels as long as Mashiach Tzidkenu is not coming in actuality, Yom of Chasedim, his days are lacking. And he brings something I spoke about previously about Yaakov, that he says his days were few because he didn't have a state of Geulah. Skip over to the next paragraph. An additional and primarily to add in the study and spreading of the inner part of Torah. The Torah b'chlal in Yonah Yaakov. And Torah in general is the idea of Yaakov, Shem, and Rosin, the Rosin Shabbat Torah, the oil which is the secrets of the Torah. In such a manner that it shines on the entranceway of his house from the outside. Your wellspring should spread outward till the legs of the Talmudoi should cease. In a simple sense, to add in the mitzvah of Chanukah Kipshuta in the simple sense, also making Farbrengens of joy, like the opinion of the Rambam, that the days of Chanukah are days of joy and praise, that the Rambam emphasizes that it's joy also. By Sofa became a minhag, since Mois Chanukah, in addition and increasing in the fulfilling of the custom of giving Chanukah geld, etc. And all this, like the lesson that's unique of this year, which is also in our year as well, Shabbos Chanukah Chal B'Reish Chodesh, that the Shabbos of Chanukah comes out Reish Chodesh, Reish Chodesh Ubeis Yomim, and Reish Chodesh is 2 days. She'oz Chal Shabbos Chanukah Miyam Alf Reish Chodesh. Then Shabbos Chanukah comes out on the first day of Reish Chodesh, like it is also in this year Tavshin Pei Vav. By prefacing, the idea of Ner Chanukah, the mitzvah is to place it on the entrance of his house from the outside, the entrance that is closest to the public domain. At top of the second column, the Kal Yerigla Tarmadoi, that it ceases the feet of the Tarmadoi. Mudgish b'Yosef b'Shabbos Chanukah. It's emphasized even more so on the Shabbos of Chanukah. Shagam b'rshus harabim, even in a public domain. Shenikar v'miyuchad prati din rshus harabim b'chol Shabbos. There's a lot of specific laws concerning the public domain when it comes to the laws of Shabbos. Na'asa ma'im d'matzav shel klois hanefesh kalya shemudgish b'akilon yom Shabbos becomes a state and situation of the outpouring of the soul. That's emphasized in the elevation of the day of Shabbos. Vayichulu meloshen kiloyin. Vayichulu is also from the word of outpouring. V'gam meloshen gemar v'shleim is kol. It's also from the word completion. Because Shabbos Chanukah should be mudgish close in the Chanukah. When the Shabbos of Chanukah, which is the completion, it's the entirety. It's the almost like the conclusion of Chanukah. Comes on Rosh Chodesh. Mudgeshes or Yoisar Hayra, the Moitz V'Hoilach. It's emphasized even more so the directive to increase. Shai Sofi Be'enorech Lagamri, that the increase is incomparable. Va'ad Ba'ofen Shal Chidush Mamish, till in the way of total Chidush. That's completely novel. Bedugum Chidush, the Rega HaMoilot, similar to the novelty of the moment of the birth of the new moon. Resh Chodesh Melashon Chidush. The head of the word Chodesh means from the word new. The Chidush Gadol Yoser Krish Chodesh Ubeis Yamim. That's an even greater Chidush and novelty and newness. That when Rosh Chodesh is split over 2 days, Sha'oz Chal Yom Aleph to Rosh Chodesh Shabbos, then the first day of Rosh Chodesh comes on Shabbos. When Meila Shayach Gam Yom Hashem to Rosh Chodesh Shabbos. So therefore, also the second day of Rosh Chodesh is connected to Shabbos. How is it? Second day of Rosh Chodesh is on Sunday. Kivin Shbaftorah Yom Shabbos Maskinim Gam Yom Hashem Rosh Chodesh. Because also in the Haftorah of Shabbos we mentioned the second day of Rosh Chodesh. Aydei Sofas Pasuk Rishon V'Achron D'Mocher Chodesh. When Shabbos comes before Rosh Chodesh, you add in the Haftorah the pasuk that says tomorrow is Rosh Chodesh. So even on Shabbos, we're already connecting it to the day of Rosh Chodesh after Shabbos. Let's skip the parentheses to the last page. After the parentheses, second line. Shekol in Yonei Chanukah Mudgoshim b'Shabbos v'Chanukah. They're all matters of Chanukah. That's emphasized on Shabbos Chanukah and Ba'ofen Shel Chidush Kafel. They're in a way of a double novelty. Chidush al gabe Chidush, a novelty upon novelty. V'yiratzon should be the will of Hashem. She'oid l'fnei ha'Yisafa bin Yonei Chanukah b'Maisa Poil, even before increasing in matters of Chanukah in actuality. Yitna Kodesh Baruch Hu Mois Chanukah, Hashem should give us Chanukah guilt. V'loidak Ba'ofen Shel Matana, not only in a way that He's giving it as a gift, but rather like paying back to us what He owes us. To Yidden that are like children that his father loves them. In the most necessary and important thing, to bring the true and complete redemption through David, King Moshiach, that I anointed him with the holy oil, in actuality, and through him will be the dedication of the third Beis Hamikdash, Chanukah, from the word Chanukah's dedication, that built and ready will come down from heavens with Poil Mamish in actuality of Ikir, and the main thing, Besmichas Man Mamish, very close in time. Oid Lifnei Tfils Mincha, before the davening of Mincha, Vakriya B'Torah Parts Vayigash, before we read in Torah Parts Vayigash, because this was Shabbos afternoon. Shatoichna Smichas Geulah Tfilah, because the idea of Parts Vayigash says is the connection between Geulah and Tfilah, the Zohar says, Ba'ifin Sha'Geulah Ba, Oid Lifnei Tfilah, in such a way that the redemption comes even prior to the davening. Skip the parentheses. Take from Yad Mamish immediately. Lo'ichun K'arav Ayin, He will not delay them even like an eye blink. The Kivin Sha'Geulah Tovi, take from Yad B'Yam Rishon Rosh Chodesh Tevis, since the Geulah will come immediately on the first day of Rosh Chodesh Tevis, which was that Shabbos. Ya'asira b'Chodesh Yom Tov. So then the 10th of the month of Tevis, automatically it will come out. At the 10th will be a Yom Tov, Kipsak in Rambam B'Sim B'Chaisim Hilchas Tainis, like the Rambam rules at the conclusion of the laws of fasting. All these fast days will cease when Mashiach comes. Not only that, there will be Yom Tovim and days of rejoicing and happiness, including Asar B'Tevis, the 10th of Tevis. Like it says, Hashem Tzvaka is going Merso, says Hashem Tzvaka, the fast of the 10th of Tevis will be for the house of Yehuda, rejoicing and happiness and Yom Tovim.